Happy Friday, folks. Welcome back to Asking You episode 13. Like I promised, I would be getting up the latter parts sometime within the next couple days to a week. And since I had some free time on this Friday night, God knows nobody's doing anything on Friday night. Well, actually, nah, that's a lie. Probably no one is. I mean, it's so goddamn gloomy and it's raining, so this would be a kind of day where you'd stay home, maybe watch a couple movies, play some games. Not really a day you go out and chill with people, but hey, that's just me. That's just me. I prefer to go out when the weather is more accessible. Anyway, what better way to kill some time than with some Q&A? I believe the last question we ended off was from Raigeki Corp. His question was, Scott Pilgrim ever be an animated series? I believe that's where we were. If not, whatever. But I'm just to take a guess that's where we were. Alright, so the first question comes from, I didn't introduce what drink we got. To help us along this journey, we've got Pepsi and a couple ice cubes. Don't know how long this is going to last me, but hey, it's life. It'll be life while taking a couple of risks. Anyway, from Party Monster 411, have you ever seen any of the direct-to-DVD DC or Marvel animated films? Which, and what do you think of them? That's a very interesting question. You know, I rarely get asked anything regarding comic book things, such as, what's some of your favorite superheroes, your favorite issues, some of your favorite artists, And, there was a period where I kind of got phased out of comics. I would just not even read them, not even discuss anything. But I'm starting to get back into them because they're doing a more digital age thing where they're releasing issues online. And, of course, I still buy comics when they come out in the hardcover. Like, after they have the run, they release all of them in a collection like they do with Kick-Ass and The Walking Dead. I prefer to do that than collecting issues, when they're released, like 562, 563. That's just not me anymore. I was never really that type of person. But when it comes to animated things, ignoring the live action movies, when it comes to animated series, I think that Marvel always one-ups DC, at least in terms of getting characters out there. I haven't really seen too many DC animated things. So that's why I prefer to like the stuff from Marvel more when it comes to animated cartoons. But when it comes to animated films, that's where I think DC ones up Marvel. I've seen a lot of them, in fact, majority of them being Batman, because of course, it's the goddamn Batman. Who doesn't love Batman? But one in particular, one superhero that I've started to love, all the lore, is Green Lantern. I saw Green Lantern First Flight and Green Lantern Emerald Knights, and I was just amazed at the production quality of that. It's just so good, and it really goes to show you, why didn't they just take what they did in Green Lantern First Flight and make that into a live action film? I mean, the way that it's told, it can be done, but over there in Hollywood, they got no genius people right there. They want to just do whatever the hell what they want to do, and then we have to suffer with that, which is becoming more and more of a trend these days. They see something that's popular, they want to cash in on it, they do a horrible, shitty job, then they try to cover their ass or whatever. But the Green Lantern films, definitely I recommend anyone interested in comic book at least watch one of them. My favorite of the two would be First Flight. And a little side note, funny story. When I was watching the film, the voice of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, I was wondering, I'm like, that guy's voice really sounds familiar. Like, where have I heard this before? And then, for the rest of the film, you're wondering, who is it? And then you forget about it. At the end, it says, starring Christopher Maloney as Hal Jordan. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, it's Christ Maloney, Elliot! An inside joke. Anyone who watches Law & Order SVU will know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, they are great films, and I've actually wanted to check out more of DC's other ones, because I know DC is starting up this whole thing. I mean, they have, I think, a Wonder Woman one. I know they have a couple Superman ones, but one that I still need to watch and see on Blu-ray would be Batman Year One. I mean, I just really want to see it, because everybody I go to, they're just like, oh man, you gotta see this movie. I'm like, okay, I will. So I want to see Batman Year One. And as far as Marvel is concerned, I haven't seen too many Marvel animated films. I don't know even if they did a lot of them, at least not the production quality of DC. But I saw Hulk versus and Planet Hulk. Like, those are the only two that I've seen. I don't even know if there are any others, but I hope that answers your question. Okay. The next question comes from Shinobi Itachi. What do you think of Funimation licensing mostly ecchi hentai-esque anime like Sekirei, Bigata HK, or Key, instead of anime with actual plots that aren't just about bouncing boobs or some girl trying to lose her virginity? Oh man, this question really this thing has really come up a lot in recent years, you know, with the anime going more towards the route of, you know, fan service. You know, there was a time when fan service had a completely different meaning than what you think of it now. When you think of fan service now, you're thinking of girls with big tits, you know, bouncing. They always have those weird suggestive camera angles. And when you look at fan service back then, it was all about putting things in an anime or something or a movie or a game that really, oh, this is for the fans, awesome stuff. Now it's just, they're appealing to a different kind of fan altogether. Yes, I do agree that we're seeing more and more of those cranked out of Japan, and they are becoming something of an annoyance because those are the ones that keep selling time and time again, you know, because, hey, let's be honest, you know, we're not here, this ain't no meeting where it's like, oh, you have to confess, no, but sex sells. Yeah, I know that's a revelation. Sex sells? What is this now? But yeah, sex sells or borderline things that are like sex sells, and those series are popular because, hey, guys, they can be pigs sometimes. I'm not saying I don't watch some of those shows. I do, you know, for the lulz, and hey, every now and then you want to just see tits bounce on the screen. But now it's become something of an annoyance when it's not even done tastefully. How could you do something like that tastefully, you ask? Well, it's really put a bad look on the harem series, you know. When I think of harem, I think of harem back in the day, shows like Tenchi Muyo, classy shows like Tenchi Muyo that had a plot, but they were still, you know, a bit of ecchi-esque things going on. Now it's just, oh god, this guy can't get into college, and suddenly these girls just fall into his life, and it's just nonsensical. And with shows like High School of the Dead, I love High School of the Dead, but I'm being the first to admit that some of that stuff is just borderline disgusting. You know, am I betraying my gender? No, because there's a limit. There's a time and place for everything. And when it just detracts so much from the story, it's like, no. You know, no, turn it off. I don't want to watch that anymore because I have other things that I could watch. But, you know, that's not the only thing Funimation licenses, man. I mean, if you look at their Netflix, their catalog, their portfolio, anything, they license anime from any genre in particular. You know, you've got anime that anyone could watch. You have the shonen type, you have the girl type, you have just every type of anime out there, and they're bringing over some that you would have never even heard of, but they got it, you know. And Funimation's not the only company doing this. Every company, it doesn't even have to be anime, it could be like movies, it could be television shows, it could be anything, you know, they do this type of thing. So I can understand what you're talking about, but you know, that's only a small tidbit of what, you know, other type of anime they bring over. So I just try to watch those type of shows in moderation, if you'd say. You know, not like something, oh, I'm going to make a point to watch all these shows. No, because then it's like, we all know what's going to happen next. And his second question is, what do you think of Bandai closing down? What does that mean for fans of K-On!, manga, and anime? Are they going to remain unfinished, or are they going to be picked up by other studios like Viz? Yeah, that is a definitely good question, man. That was one of the first things I thought of when Bandai was closing. You know, there were a lot of series that they licensed that they were going to bring over and dub or, you know, translate and put it out as manga. And now that, you know, they've ceased production, all that's up in the air. You know, the best thing that we're thinking is that the licenses will transfer over to Viz or some other smaller manga publisher, and they'll bring the series over. I think that's the best solution out there, but, you know, the more companies closing down, the more you can count them on just one hand. You know, it's really sad when you can count the number of distributors and then how many manga and anime distributors are going on, because it's really bad when you got to transfer all of these to one mega giant like Funimation. You know, I love Funimation, I'm not saying they're bad, but you want to have a good number of companies out there, you know. So if one of them tanks, we still have these guys going on, you know. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket, you want to spread them out. So I would hope that we still see the release of anime and manga from Viz, hopefully Funimation too. But like I said, it's all up in the air. It's all up to the Japanese on what they want to do. But what I'd like to see more, if they can't really bring them out for a retail release, I want to see more emphasis on the digital market, like what Viz is doing. God bless Viz and their digital manga route, what they're doing. They have manga available the same day as it is in stores on the digital app, sometimes earlier. Sometimes they have them out like 2-3 weeks earlier than the retail release. And I'm like, guys, digital for the fucking win. I mean, when you can get this stuff earlier. And they're reasonable prices as well. So Viz should definitely be commended. But like I said, that's just one company. You know, I wish the Japanese would get more towards the digital age, because it's not fan subs and you know, scanlation, all that stuff that is killing the industry. That's a big part, like 80%. But you also have the companies who are making stupid decisions with their shows. Like Bandai wanted to go back and do singles for animes. It's like, singles nowadays are rare. I mean, 13 episode box sets are the new singles. So yeah, like some practices, they have to be adapted, and it's in a good way. It's not saying put all your stuff for free. No, you know, they just need to find ways to adapt, you know, to the ever-growing market that is the digital. Everyone wants things, you know, on their iPods. They want things on their phones, you know. And Funimation is putting steps. They have that Funimation Elite program going on. And they, of course, they have anime on iTunes, PSN, and Xbox Live. But the Japanese really need to get more on board with that if they want to recuperate some money. You know, so I'm not going to be one of those people who are saying, oh, it's just all about piracy. That's 80%, but then you got the companies who are making some foolish moves. That's a more of a realist approach. Okay. The next question comes from CoolKids28670. What do you think of Ultimate Tenkaichi? I believe I talked more or less about my first impressions of Ultimate Tenkaichi in that video I did, like, what do you want to see next? The general consensus is that it was probably the biggest Dragon Ball Z disappointment for me this generation, next to Raging Blast. I mean, they had so many great ideas in it that, like, really could have just revived interest in the entire series, you know, for the non-believers, people who didn't play it in a couple of years. But they were just executed so poorly, and I think this all comes down to the whole year-long development cycle. I keep saying this with games like Call of Duty, with Madden, you know, and even with Assassin's Creed. There is only so much you can do in a 10-month development period. I don't care that Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft has 500 people working on it. There is only so much you can do. What is so wrong with taking 2 years to 3 years to make a game? That's not a problem. It's not like your product's going to become irrelevant for life. It's not like that's going to be an issue, you know, because the majority of games nowadays, there's a 2-year cycle, and they come out, you know, generally well received, you know, they get good sales. Assassin's Creed does not need to keep coming out every single year. No, it doesn't. The quality of the games, after number 2, gone downhill. Brotherhood was alright. Revelations, man, Revelations was the biggest disappointment, especially after watching that trailer from E3 with Woodkid playing. Oh, shit. You know, the quality of the Assassin's Creed games are becoming okay. And I don't want okay. I want amazing like Assassin's Creed 2. But that's not going to happen because Ubisoft, oh no one's going to care about Assassin's Creed. Oh, we want to do a 2012 Doomsday storyline. Look how short Revelations was. And you're paying $60 for that? Oh yeah, boy, we got that critically acclaimed multiplayer. Yeah. But, you see, the same thing applies for Dragon Ball. There's only so much you could do. Create a character, one of the most requested features in a Dragon Ball game since Inception, half-assed. Only so much you can do in it. And you got the story mode. They were missing out on key characters, more or less half-assed. The fighting mechanics system, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. It was different, but sometimes being different can take it in the wrong direction. So what I'm saying is that if they took longer to make these games, it's not like people are saying, come out with more Dragon Ball Z games, come out. Because look at Batman. Look what happened to Batman with Arkham Asylum. You know, like, they put time, love, and effort into Arkham Asylum, then they went to Arkham City. You know, why can't someone do that for Dragon Ball? You know, there are plenty of competent Japanese developers that could take the Dragon Ball franchise in a new direction, maybe do an RPG, an open world game. I would love to see that on consoles. But no, we always got to stick to fighting. Oh, fighting this, fighting that. I'm like, no. That's why I always stand by the statement, the best Dragon Ball games will be on the handhelds. Legacy of Goku 2, Boost Fury, Advance Adventure, and the 2 Origin games on the DS. Honestly, I would take any of those over Budokai Tenkaichi 3 or Budokai 3. I know that's heresy to say among the fan base, but you get what I'm saying? When you got shit like this that is recycle, it's like, what the hell? How the hell can this be on the shelf for $60? You know, so I don't have any hope in Dragon Ball Z games if they're going to keep doing this, you know. Alright, the next one comes from Kid12. How do you feel about the new season box set collections for One Piece? Do you think they're overshadowing the incomplete voyages? What do you mean by that? Like, do you think that the collections are becoming a more high-profile thing for Funimation? Do you think they're going to spend more time with collections and release One Piece that way? Because I like the idea of the collections, you know, finally gives the people who are bitching about One Piece, oh, 26 little box sets. They gave them that and it's under $20, still not enough apparently. Self-entitlement, man, that's the number one thing of this generation of people, so goddamn self-entitled. But, you know, I think it's good for the people who waited, you know, they wanted to get One Piece, more content, less money. You know, that's just the way the world works, you know, they come out with it initially, and then they come out with the one for people who are still like, on the fence, and it has more stuff, and it's cheaper. That's just the way the world works. It's not even just anime, it's gaming, it's movies, TV shows, you know, they always release the snazzy box set after you've bought up everything else, you know? It's just like, why do you do this to me? Thankfully I didn't buy any of the James Bond Blu-rays because they're coming out with the 50-year anniversary thing, so I'm like, I know what to give my dad for the Christmas this year. But I think they're going to continue the route of Voyages. I believe they still did say they're doing Voyages for Season 4, because that's the easiest way they can do it, 13-episode box sets, and then after substantial episodes are released, they can do a collection for the other guys. And I heard, if it is going to be Voyages, I heard there might be a Blu-ray release. Man, and honestly, I can't wait for One Piece. I can't wait for the 26-episode box sets. I need to have it now. I need the Voyages. I need it. Blu-ray, people. Blu-ray. So, yeah, that's really what I think. This one comes from TMA Honey34. Like I said, I'm butchering everyone's name. Everybody's name's out here. Since you're a huge fan of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, what do you think of GameSpot only giving it 7.5? Do you believe it should deserve more? Yeah, definitely. Skyward Sword is the best Legend of Zelda game I have ever played. Like, it's not even just because, oh, it's a new Zelda game, so automatically it's going to be the best game of the series. No. The changes that Nintendo has implemented into it, I mean, the storytelling is so much more stronger. What else? The gameplay completely revamped. You know, they really do use the Wii Remote nunchuck. Like, there is not a piece of the game that doesn't involve motion controls. You know, that is the game that the Wii was waiting for, that used it 100%. And just, you know, the puzzles, the layout, the design, it really makes you think, you know, that, in my opinion, is the perfect Zelda game for Wii. And with GameSpot giving it 7.5, now, you know, everyone is entitled to their own educated opinion, but really, mainstream reviewers, you know, like IGN, GameSpot, all these big corporate companies, I tend not to listen to them anymore. I mean, you also have to look at who's reviewing the game and their past reviews, which is why I don't completely hate IGN. You know, I like certain reviewers there, not all of them. I'm like, Greg Miller, whatever his name is, the guy who does the PS3 reviews, he's such a fanboy, I'm just going to say that. But GameSpot is like XPlay. They really become irrelevant as far as reviews are concerned. I don't take what they say into account because they, like, you would have the same people reviewing this game, give it this score, yet criticize another game for the exact same things that they said that they forgot to mention in the other one. It's ridiculous that these same people will give 9s to Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, yet give Zelda 7.5. Oh, because it's the same damn game. Yeah, really. Really, you're the idiot giving Call of Duty a 9 every year. Oh, that's totally different, right? As opposed to Zelda, the first Zelda game in 5 years. You see how stupid it sounds when they're saying it's the same thing? Oh, Assassin's Creed 9.5. Oh, we're cool. I mean, it's just stupid, you know? That's what happens. There's hypocrisy going on everywhere. But, you know, whatever, you know? That's just like, it's the losing battle. You can't win it. As long as you like the game, and as long as you follow people who aren't paid off or aren't, you know, in these big corporate things, the best outlet I'd say for if you want to get a good opinion on a game, go to a smaller known website or go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. When you're not looking at videos from drones like Pyro 2000X, you can get a great review, you know, because people there, they aren't paid off, you know. Most of the time they own multiple systems. They play a lot of different games, so they have a general good opinion on it. You know, I've seen plenty of reviews on YouTube that made me want to go out and buy games, as opposed to IGN, you know. It's like, don't go to IGN and those guys for your reviews. Stick to the lower ground guys, because they can tell you things that, honestly, IGN will forget to mention, you know. Alright, this one comes from, let me see, Anti-Sport. How would you feel if the Dragon Ball franchise took the same approach as Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations did? Meaning if they had a more Dragon Ball versus Dragon Ball Z thing going on. I personally don't think they acknowledge Dragon Ball enough in the DBZ universe, only having Kid Goku in 3 DBZ games. So, yeah, do you think that'd be a good idea? Fresh approach for Namco Bandai? Anything would be a fresh approach for Dragon Ball Z, Namco Bandai. Anything. I don't care. Make it a Dragon Ball Z first-person shooter. I don't care. Something different. I know that's like, you're the reason why we have XCOM and Syndicate, you know? But that's just a joke, you know? People are gonna understand that. Hopefully understand that. But I agree that Dragon Ball is not given as much attention as Z is, because when people automatically think of Z, oh, fighting game, we gotta do a fighting game. But no, you don't have to do a fighting game. You could do something else. And, you know, the story has got rehashed time and time and time and time again that really the developers have stopped caring. You know, sometimes it just be text, sometimes it's only certain parts that they do good on. You know, so do something fresh. Do Dragon Ball. Do Dragon Ball. I don't see anyone wanting more Dragon Ball games. It sucks. You know, it really sucks because Dragon Ball, in my opinion, is better than Z. I mean, the storytelling, the character development, some of the fights you see in Dragon Ball, you know, they are so goddamn intense. You know, they are epic. You know, epic incarnate. And especially when you have something like Kid Goku going up against the Red Ribbon Army all by himself, that was just crazy. You know? And it's really sad that we don't see those type of games come out with that attention. You know, I'm glad that we got Revenge of King Piccolo on the Wii, Origins 1 and 2 on the DS, but, you know, that's just it. And people automatically think that Dragon Ball sucks because it doesn't have these bulky-ass Saiyans who can just scream for 30 minutes to go another level, and they don't have these, like, beam struggles in the air and all that, but that doesn't make a good show, you know? Most of that stuff that people like in Z have become memes, and not good memes, you know? And it's just annoying, frankly, because I like Dragon Ball, and then people say it sucks automatically, but then I tell them, hey, you know what, idiots? If it wasn't for Dragon Ball, you wouldn't have your precious Z. If it weren't for the stories that went on there, none of that would happen. None of that would happen. So, give credit where credit is due. So, I'd love to see more Dragon Ball games. The style I do, well, when he says Ultimate Storm Generations, where it's Naruto versus Shippuden Naruto, I think that's just chopped up for marketing, you know, because, oh, God, we got pre-timed characters going on. You haven't seen them in, like, 5 years. So it's purely for advertisements, and I don't think there's going to be like a separate storyline with time travel or just fighting like that. And I think it'd be pretty weird just to see adult Goku fighting against Kid Goku. It's just, it's something strange. At least with Naruto and pre-time skip Naruto, it's like a 3-year difference, and the height difference is like what, a foot maybe. But with Goku, it's but end of the day, more Dragon Ball games, please. Okay, this one comes from Keyblade King 13. Badass profile picture, bro. Badass profile picture. It's Sora in his nobody form. No, nobody form? Final form. Sorry, it's just you gain the power from killing nobodies, and yeah, you understand that. Hey Neo, I've got a couple questions. I know you asked this on Facebook, but damn it, I knew this would come back to bite me in the ass at one point. But if you could only watch one anime and read one manga, what would it be? You see, on Facebook, I put a lot of thought-provoking questions, like ultimatum, you know, those type of things. Like, oh, if you could only have one of this, you know, who's your favorite developer or something like that. And, man, I was really a real dick, because when it comes to favorite anime and manga, the more you watch and read, the more harder it becomes to just say this is your favorite, because I have a lot of things like my go-to category for drama, my pick-me-up anime, my anime that I can show to anybody and they can have a laugh, you know? But to answer that question, God, I really am a dick, aren't I? Damn, I'm sorry, people, I didn't mean to do this, but okay. For manga, as of this recording, January 27th at 5:54 p.m., manga definitely would have to be Azumanga Daioh. Definitely Azumanga Daioh. Anime, ooh, that's pretty tough. Fruits Basket. It had to be Fruits Basket. It just had to be Fruits Basket, you know? So, no Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just Fruits Basket all the way. And then I have runner-ups like Yu Yu Hakusho, Great Teacher Onizuka, Detective Conan. There's just so many animes out there that it's really hard for me just, I'm sorry, people! And the second one is, will you be picking up the One Piece collections or keeping with the voyages? Like I mentioned, I'm keeping with the voyages because I gotta have season 4. I gotta have it right now. Blu-ray! Blu-ray! That was a good batch of questions. This one comes from Garrison18. Oh, Mr. Hat! You can't have a profile name with Garrison in the title or Cartman in the title without me making a South Park reference. It's only obvious. We'll be doing a remake of your Kingdom Hearts review. Definitely yes, man. Yeah, seeing as how it is 2012 now, hard to believe, time really flies. We are approaching the 10th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. Something that started as so odd 10 years ago. You're mixing Mickey Mouse and Cloud Strife. It's like, wow. It's like you pitch this to the company. I want to make a game with Donald Duck fighting alongside one of the most emo video game characters of all time. And we got this guy who is going to have a key for a weapon. Well, it wasn't a key in the original development process, but it was something weird, and it took off. It garnered a huge fan base. So I will be doing more Kingdom Hearts related videos. I just need to do the series justice. I will be remaking that review, but since now I have a better camera, I have, better programs, I have a green screen, which I don't use, it's just in my room, sitting in the closet. I will be able to do more Kingdom Hearts reviews. It'll be something in-depth. I'll be able to go through all of the games in the series. And since I have Birth by Sleep, 358, Recoded's out, and with Dream Drop Distance on the horizon, there's a lot to talk about for Kingdom Hearts, and I'll probably do some other things, but that won't come till Dream Drop Distance is fully released. Fully released when everywhere in the world gets it, not just Japan, because I'm not going to import a Japanese 3DS and a copy of that game just to play it, and I think that someone's going to ask the question on this because I remember reading it. So yeah, and after that, what do you think of Naruto Shippuden? I assume you mean the anime, right? Honestly, I've given up on pretty much both the manga and the anime because it's just pretty much boring, I just can't stand reading anymore. I think the height of Shippuden was the pain arc, I think that was like the best part of Shippuden. I really don't think it's getting any better, and I've read the series, I haven't read it in the past couple of months, mind you, but it's just when you have better things out there to read, I'm like, fuck Naruto, it's just not worth it. And with the anime going back and forth into filler, I don't care that this episode has Naruto's mom in it. It's awesome. We're going to go back to filler next week probably. Or a week after that. It's just, why are we anticipating getting out of filler? This is bullshit, And I've said all I can on the series. It's like, later on, when the series ends, I'll probably go back to rewatching it. And at this point, it doesn't really matter for me. That's why I don't talk about it anymore. It's just, I don't care that, it's getting really good, Neil. It's getting really good. You got to read it. And I'm like, no, it's just a delusion. So yeah, that's just it, man. This is the question I was talking about just now. Jagiz wants to know, have you played any of the Fire Emblem games? Dude, yes I have. Oh my freaking lord. The Fire Emblem series is one that I hold highly. The quality of the games. I was like one of the many who the first Fire Emblem game they played in the States was Fire Emblem 7. Which is the one with Lyn, the one with Hector, the one with Eli Wood. The one that was released on the Game Boy Advance was the 7th game in the series. Japan had gotten a lot of Fire Emblem related things, and this is the first time in North America. Nintendo is, like I said, really sloppy with localization, so that's why. And we really... Fire Emblem has really become more of a niche franchise over here. We're not getting a lot of games in the series. We're missing out on games. And it sucks because... under normal circumstances, I would import the games, but seeing as how, even though it's simplistic in the sense that, you don't have to really know anything like RPGs where you have to read all this dialogue, it's still a crutch for an import. It's not like something like if I imported Naruto Gecko Ninja Tyson EX5 or whatever, it'd still be easy for me to play because it's just at its core a fighting game, I could just download a custom save file and have all the characters. But